Hey guys, this is Richard Price with High Tech Battery. Today we're going to be taking a look at replacing the batteries in the Buzzaround XL series scooter battery. Now, as you can see here, I have the battery pack. I did take it out of the scooter. It simply lifts up out of the scooter. It is heavy. It's going to be about 40-ish pounds, so do keep that in mind. What goes in here is a pair of 12 volt 18 amp hour heavy duty AGM batteries. Now, these AGM batteries are deep cycle. They're not the general purpose batteries that you can get at a store like Batteries Plus. These batteries are designed to be cycled down and then recharged back up without damaging the internal components of the battery. They're really meant to be used on a repeated basis without killing the longevity of the battery every time. So it's careful to make that distinction that when you are searching for the battery replacements for your Buzzaround XL, you are indeed getting deep cycle batteries. General purpose will simply give you a very short lifespan. That being said, we also offer a battery upgrade. You can upgrade these to a 20 amp hour instead of the 18. It's just going to give you about 10-15% longer lifetime in between charges, so longer ride time on your scooter. And it is recommended if this is something that you rely on as your everyday transport. So the game plan for the video is I'm going to do a top down on the battery pack. We're going to open it up. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. And then I'm actually going to replace the batteries so you can follow right along with me. So if you are thinking of replacing the batteries yourself, this is going to give you a great how-to or great insight into what that encompasses there. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right guys, now that we've taken out all the screws, we can go ahead and lift the top off the case here and take a peek inside. All right, cool. So we can see we've got two 12 volt 18 amp hour batteries in here. These particular batteries are going to be a threaded insert style. So what that means for us is we don't need the ratchet. We can just simply use our Phillips head screwdriver to remove these. I want to make a quick note about the terminal style. If you already have a pair of 12 volts 18 amp hour or 20 amp hour batteries with a nut and bolt style terminal, in other words, that's a terminal that protrudes from the top of the battery that you can stick a bolt through and thread a nut on the other side, you can still use it in this battery pack. There's enough clearance in the top here that you can use either a threaded insert or a nut and bolt style battery. So it'll be okay if you have either or in this particular case. A quick note on replacing the batteries in terms of the wiring. You can see here in the wiring already, I have a clearly defined negative black in color and a clearly defined positive on this battery here. This battery, I've got two what seem to look like positive cables. I have one darker red and one almost orange in color. Now these are going to be clearly marked, which is, to be honest, rare. We don't see this in a ton of these battery packs because they're assuming that A, you're never going to replace the batteries yourself, or B, you're going to be upgrading the scooter and replacing it altogether. So I would recommend either taking a picture of how these are wired up or replacing one battery at a time to make things as simple and as clean as possible. My preferred method is to replace a single battery at a time, and that's what I'm going to do for the remainder of this video here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take the battery with seemingly two identical colors here. I can see my bright red is going to be my positive, and I'm going to make a note here that my almost orangish cable is going to be my negative. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the positive terminal. Very good. And then our negative. Excellent. Get those out of the way, and then I will go ahead and pull out the battery itself. Let's get this out of the way. And let's go ahead and put in our replacement battery. Perfect. Now, I've already prepped the hardware that came with the replacement battery. You do need to use the hardware that comes with whatever battery that you're replacing these with. So use the hardware with the new battery. The reason being is the threads can be different, the bolt depth can be different depending on what manufacturer you go with. So always, always, always use the new hardware that comes with your replacement batteries. All right, so let's go ahead and put the washer on this. I'm going to go ahead and connect the positive first. I'm just going to hand tighten it to get my cable situated, and then I'll crank them down. That's good. And then my positive, or my negative cable right here. Good. Double check my wiring. Positive, positive, negative to negative. If it's good, go ahead and crank it down. Now, when you're tightening the bolts, do hand tight and then a little bit further. All right, you really don't want to continue to crank these bolts down in case you thread or strip out the threads in the battery. If you do that, the battery's worthless. All right, so do keep that in mind. You really don't want to crank them down as hard as you can for each one of these terminals here. So let's go ahead and replace our second battery. We're going to follow the same process. Negative to negative, positive to positive. These are clearly marked, so this one's going to be a lot easier. So let's go ahead and disconnect our positive first. Let's clean that up. And then my negative. Good. All right, we'll take this one out as well. And we'll put in our replacement. And then let's go ahead and start wiring it in. So I'm going to do the exact way I took them off. So I'm going to go ahead and connect our positive cable first. Using the new hardware, please keep that in mind. And then the negative cable next. And again, I'm doing these hand tight in the beginning. I want to double and triple check that my wiring is correct. If you wire these backwards and put them in your scooter, you'll most likely blow a fuse, or worst case scenario, you could damage the actual controller unit on the chair. Positive, positive, negative to negative, good to go. So I'm going to crank these down just a little bit. I'm going to go hand tight and then a little bit further. So there's no wiggle room. Give them the wiggle test here. No movement. Good to go. So that covers the battery portion. We've gone ahead and taken out the old batteries, replaced the new ones. You saw how simple that was in this case. It's not rocket science. It's something very easy to do. Any do-it-yourselfer can do it. If you're not super familiar with tools, that really doesn't matter, considering all we used was a flathead screwdriver. So now let's go ahead and seal it up. Now, when you're sealing it up, take your time, okay? You have to make sure your grooves on the sides are all lined up. You'll feel it go flush, just like that. Okay, now, I can't really show it to you in this video, unfortunately, because the camera's just stationary in one spot. What I recommend you do is if you have a ledge, a counter with a ledge, or a workbench, which I'm assuming you're working on right now, move this off to the ledge, right? So your holes are exposed where the screws go into, and then screw it in from the bottom up. That will make your life a lot easier when you're putting the cover back on. Simply flipping this over and going ahead and putting your screws in that way, yes, you can get it done, but man, is it a pain. It's tough to line up. So again, you want to move this to the edge of the counter so your holes are exposed. Take your Phillips head screwdriver, put your bolt on the end of it, and just stick it up in the hole and start turning until you feel some resistance, and then keep spinning until it's locked in place. Well, that concludes the video, guys. So we've gone ahead and replaced the batteries. Now, keep in mind we did use a 12 volt 18 amp hour battery in these. We do offer the 12 volt 20 amp hour series. I will include that information in the description of the video itself. So you have the quick links and things like that to take a look at the two different options that we offer. And keep in mind, we do offer deep cycle only. All of our options are designed to be used by scooters. So you can get the maximum longevity that you're looking for. We don't sell general purpose for this particular application. All the batteries that we sell also come with a 1-year warranty. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to us. We can be reached via email at orders@techbatterysolutions.com, or you can give us a call toll free. We're at 1-877-775-4381 is our toll free number. We also have live chat on our website. We have 3 customer service agents that are very knowledgeable in this field and can help you or guide you through anything that you may need. So until next time, guys, take it easy.